Well, our moms think we're funny.
All right.
So you got one yet?
I'm trying to think of like movies you've seen, man. That's what makes it hard.
I've seen more than you think I've seen, obviously.
I know, but I don't know like all the ones you've seen. Shit. Okay. Watchmen.
Ooh.
Your Rorschach.
Ooh.
What do you do differently? You can pick any point of the movie, but you can't use knowledge that you don't have.
Right, right.
But any point in the movie, what do you do differently?
Probably not much, honestly. I feel like he could have gotten away from the cops and not gotten arrested, but I'm really not sure what I would have done differently in that situation that he didn't already do.
I think the reason that he didn't do more is because, you know, he sees himself as like the extension of the cops, the things that they can't do, and he would not want to put that kind of force against him because he would have to do more, like he'd break bones or something like that, and he didn't want to do that.
But he did set that one cop on fire and shot the other one with his grappling hook.
Right, but he did have a vest on.
Ah, yeah.
So that would have taken some of the impact, and he set him on fire with the hair hairspray.
Yep.
So it's not like he doused some gasoline first,
Right.
You know? I mean, that guy probably got singed. He may have gotten a first-degree burn.
Probably. So I think if I were in that escape situation, rather than having shot that cop with the grappling hook, I would have probably tried to have used that to escape.
How so?
Could have gotten to the rooftop.
Maybe. Did they have helicopters?
I don't remember. It's been too long. But they probably did, but I think you're more likely to get away still, rather than being surrounded and punched down by all the guys on the ground.
So I would say the thing to that is when he goes to leave, from when you get to the roof, he would have to either bust out the window and lean out and shoot the grappling hook on something. Because when he jumps out, was he like 3 or 4 stories up?
Yeah.
Or he'd have to still bust out the window and shoot the grappling hook up to the roof of the building across from him.
Yep.
And that which, I mean, he probably may still escape, but it's not going to be like a quick escape,
Oh no, it would be a long ass chase, but.
And I also have the feeling that with him doing that, there's a good chance they probably would have shot him in the back.
It's possible. It's definitely possible. But that's where my mind first went to. Would have been that.
Right. He's like, because if he hadn't gotten captured, then he could have possibly. Actually, if he hadn't gotten captured, I'm not sure if anything would have been any different.
The timing would have been different. Because the first thing he does when he gets out of jail is he goes back to his house, gets his other face and his other suit. Or no, he gets his face from the doctor, from the filing room, but he goes and gets his other suit.
He gets his journal.
In his journal, yep. And he calls out his neighbor for spreading bad rumors about him.
Right. Little snot-nosed kid looking at him.
And then immediately they go squeeze some people and see what information they can get.
They go back to the Night Owl's place, and then Manhattan shows up and takes Laurie away. Then they go squeeze people.
That's right. So then Laurie would have been with them throughout this process if he had never gotten arrested, or I guess he would have never even been with Night Owl. The only reason he was with Night Owl in the first place was because they busted him out of jail.
Right. And see, that's what I was saying, is that if he hadn't gotten caught by the police, because that's his thing. She's like, "What do we do?" She's like, he's like, let's go bust him out of jail. If they hadn't done that, I don't think he would have gone looking for him. I don't think he would have gone looking for Rorschach.
Yeah.
Because the only thing about that was like, I'm going to get him out of jail because he's Rorschach and he's more dangerous to the people in there than he is out here, and also because I don't see him as being a bad person like everybody else says. Yes, he's
He's
flawed,
unhinged, yeah.
but I don't think he needs to be in there. And so that's that. I don't think other than that though. I don't think he would have gone after him, and I'm not sure if Rorschach would have come back to him, because when he left, it was pretty clear that
he was done. Yeah.
Right,
You quit.
because he says, what happened to the other days, like you quit, and Rorschach was done until he rescues him. And the only reason he even says let's go squeeze some people is because which we see later, which you and I talked about, is he sees that defeated look on his face when he's like, I finally meet somebody and it looks like she's someone that loves me or can care for me. And then her ex-boyfriend shows up. It's like every high school kind of thing. The guy that I can't compete with, who's better than me.
Yep.
Physically, everything else. And then as soon as he steps back into her life, she's gone.
Yep.
And he's like, well, shit. And then Rorschach's like, I need to take your mind off of this. Let's go squeeze some people.
Right. Right.
And then what do they?
At what point do they go to Veidt's place? Was that Rorschach's idea or was it Night Owl's idea?
It was Rorschach's idea, because they go to squeeze some people, and he's asking about Veidt's killer and the connection between Moloch and transnational, I think, something like that.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And he says the guy that tried to kill Veidt is, and the guy at the bar tells him that it was part of like a work release program, something like that, and we were hired and all that stuff, and then and they were going to go to Veidt after that to see kind of like what the connection was, and then that's when the news broadcast comes on. And the Night Owl loses it. Yeah. God, I love that scene.
Yeah, that's a great scene. So, if Rorschach thought to go back to Veidt's, he would have found out that Veidt was behind everything. Now, he wouldn't have been able to get to the South Pole as quickly as he did, because that was Archie.
I don't think that he would have been able to. So he goes to the bar, he squeezes the guy, and then leaves. I think he would have had a harder time getting into Veidt's headquarters, because they drive Archie right up to the window and go in. Yeah. So he would have had a harder time, I think, getting into there.
He might have.
And he would have gotten in, no doubt, but it would have been harder for him. Now, with the who is it that finds the password?
I can't remember.
I'm thinking it's Night Owl, isn't it? Because
I think it is. I think Dan does find it, but
because it's what is that, Ramesses?
Yeah, but I think Rorschach would have tracked that down, because
if he would have had time.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing too. Him trying to figure out what the password was to get into the files, to then find out that TransUnion, Transnational, whatever it was, that was a part of Veidt Industries, and then be like, yeah. But then that goes to what you said. He would have then had to go back to Dan and ask for help. And I don't think he would have, because at that point, as far as he knew, Dan was out. Dan wasn't going to come back.
Yep.
Now,
so then it is a big question of how quickly can he get there.
Now, here's something I just thought about that would probably change everything, which is Dan was at the bar and he saw the news. Well, no shit. Oh, man. The original Night Owl wouldn't have died.
That's right.
Because if Rorschach had never gone to jail, they would have never busted him out, and the Knot Tops never would have said, oh, I know that guy.
Yep.
So Dan would have been out. And he would have had no reason to put back on the suit at all.
Yeah, so it would have been all Rorschach totally alone, which is kind of how Rorschach liked it.
But he couldn't have gotten to Antarctica.
Nope. So then that would be the big question. See, the thing is, the reason that they failed is that they were 30 minutes late. Do you think I would have explained my plan if I weren't sure it's foolproof? I did it 30 minutes ago.
Right.
So they're 30 minutes late. It's like, how would the timing have been different? He lost days in jail, didn't he? He wasn't just there one day.
I was just going to say that this scene right here, we have Infinity War playing in the background, and I don't know why it catches my breath, but when the hairs on Parker's arm stand up, I mean, I've seen his spider sense before, even though we've never fully seen it with this Parker. We got like a hint of it in the first movie.
Yeah.
But when those hairs stand up, it's like oh shit. I mean, we've already seen the aliens, but it's like shit's going down.
Yeah, it's so subtle.
And I think it's not just the hairs. It's that expression on his face, like. He's like, whoa, something big's happening.
Like, oh, this is bad. This is bad.
But right, so he loses a couple days in jail. He loses probably about 2 weeks in jail, doesn't it?
I think so.
It's a while.
Because, like, the build-up is that he dumped the hot oil on that guy who tried to shiv him in the cafeteria, and he was in traction for a long time.
Right.
And Big Figure kept saying, if that guy dies, then this place is going to explode. I mean, there was a lot of build-up to that.
Plus the psychiatrist talking to him to finally get him to open up. And then how it affected him, and then of course the dinner party and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it was a couple weeks.
So I mean, that would have put him significantly ahead of schedule.
It would have been still trying to get to Antarctica, picking out the plane. And here's the other part of that though is that Veidt would have still been in New York. Mm-hmm. And he's keeping tabs on Rorschach. There's a good chance that Rorschach might not even made it that.
That's true. So it would have played out very differently then.
Yeah, but in the end, though, Veidt still wins.
Yep.
and
I think his plan is too perfect for it not to win. So
actually, by Rorschach not going to prison or jail. When do we stop just referring to prison as just jail? I mean, it's always like, I spent 10 years in jail. Like, no, people don't spend 10 years in jail. They spend 10 years in prison. You spend like a week in jail, then you go to prison. Yep. But now everything's just always, it's just jail. Jail's just like, both county and state. It's like
the catch-all, yeah.
But had Rorschach not gone to prison, he never would have fully figured out, like, if the events hadn't played out the way they did, he never would have fully figured out Veidt's plan and everything. So his journal wouldn't reveal the truth because he would know the full truth. So if he didn't go to prison, Veidt's plan would never be undone.
Yeah.
Because no one would really know it except for him.
Shit, yeah. I didn't think about that. So yeah, that would change everything. So how about you, if you were in Rorschach's place?
If I was in Rorschach's place, So going back to like what moment would I have been able to do anything different? He pretty much does everything Rorschach. I mean, there's no point where he doesn't kind of act like Rorschach or where he was like, oh, I kind of slipped up here. And so the other part of that is if I'm playing this out in my head saying, okay, what would I have done differently as Rorschach? I also have to keep in mind that I'm not thinking like myself. I'm thinking like Rorschach. I'm just saying, what choice would he have made that he didn't, that he should have? Obviously, the big thing would be, going to Dan and acknowledging your friendship. The way that Dan saw it, but part of the thing that made him upset with Rorschach, because he's like, look, you come in here, you broke the lock on my door, you're eating my food, and it's like, I don't ever see you, and but he never acknowledges that he's Dan's friend until that moment that Dan blows up at him. Right. So in that way, like for Dan, it's always, this is a one-way friendship, and I'm sick of it. And so to be able to go to him and say, hey, look, you're my friend and all that, but he's incapable of that. Right. Until that one moment, he was completely incapable of doing that. So I can't even change that either. So what could I or would I do different? I really don't know, man. It's like it's so hard to think about. Like I think your big thing there was like not doing something different to not get caught. Mm-hmm. But you can't, you can't fight back hard against the police because that goes against what he would do. It's God, Man, it's a struggle. The other part about that is when the cops pull him down and they take off his mask, he turns back into Walter Kovacs, and he's completely powerless.
Yep.
I mean, I say completely powerless because he's not. Because in prison, he's very capable,
right?
But he's not Rorschach capable,
right?
That's just Walter doing what he has to do to survive. It's when he puts the mask on. So when they took that mask off, he was not able to fight against the cops at all.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird. That kind of like the dichotomy, I guess, of that, of like who I am and who I am, even though I do acknowledge that they're both the same person. And that's just weird.
It's his face, though.
Yeah.
He can't fight without his face.
So what, damn, I really don't know, man. I really can't think of it. I think it's like you said, the only thing that you could really change about how that plays out from Rorschach's point of view is that him not getting caught,
right,
and not going to prison and not losing that time. But even if you did that, it doesn't change the outcome. I mean, it doesn't change the giant squid.
Right.
It does probably prevent that from being undone, but at the point that it's done, does it really need to be undone?
Yeah.
I mean, if I can stop it from happening, and it brings about this, this false utopia, it's like I couldn't stop it, so it's there. I should just let it be. Because the thing is, if it does fall apart, it's only going to fall apart one way, and that's if by human nature it does, eventually, or if it's the truth is revealed, and it doesn't matter if the truth is revealed early or later.
Right.
It still has the same repercussions.
Yeah.
Now, in the TV series, which you haven't seen yet,
right,
one of the cool things about the TV series that, of course, is never touched on in the book because the book doesn't go that far. It ends where it needs to end. In the TV series, they have these weird, like just random squid rainstorms. Right. Where these baby squids it's all of a sudden it'll like a horn, an alarm, and then all of a sudden baby squids would just start falling from the sky. And then they, after like a couple minutes, they'll just completely just dissolve, and then they're gone.
That's weird.
And you find out that Veidt had set this whole thing up to do random areas, so it wasn't a pattern, but it keeps them believing that the aliens are still trying to come to Earth. Because if you just have one giant squid appear and then it never appears again, after 10 to 15 years, I'm like, oh, well, it was a fluke, and then let's go back to killing each other.
Yeah.
So I get these random rainstorms that come in, so it's like, whatever they did the first time, they died. So now they're testing it to see how they can come through properly.
Right.
And we're still not prepared for them. But that still keeps us on our toes to say, we can't fight amongst ourselves. We still have to look out for the bigger threat. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay. So yeah, that's a good one.
All right, so I'm going to get up. I'm going to walk over here. I'm going to look at my movies, see if I can find something in some way that will give you something to think about.
Okay.
Well, actually, I just did Watchmen.
Yeah, you just did Watchmen.
So yeah, I'll still look, and you now throw me another one.
Okay.
Actually, do we want to? Time-wise.
If we go a few more minutes, we can make it a two-parter. So yeah, I'm good with doing a couple more.
Sure. Okay. Go ahead. Get some shit.
Boy, I threw out a lot of really good ones already. A lot of our old favorites. You know what? I'm gonna do a little bit of an obscure cut, but we both love the movie Oldboy. Yorodaisu. Yeah. So scenario would play out the same for you up to the kidnapping. But then the 10 years in the hotel, or was it 15 in the original?
God, I don't remember.
I think it's... Oh, shit. No, I think it's 20 years in the original and 10 in the reinterpretation.
God, you love bringing that up.
It just angers me so much that it even exists. And it kind of angers me that, like, that's my big exposure to Spike Lee, is learning about that movie. It's like, no, I'd like to have developed some respect for him first and then seen that, but no.
I've got two.
Okay.
Who? Oh, it was the New Gladiators when the guy slowly hit the wire that cut his head off.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, folks. I just had to step over a mic cord. I almost ran into it. I almost didn't see it, and I was like, "Whoa!" I almost lost my legs there. All right. Go ahead. What you got?
But yeah, so Adaisu, what would you do differently?
Oh man. So
Keeping in mind, a lot of this shit was out of his control.
right, and the few things he could control, like when he tried to commit suicide, they were like, "We're having none of that."
Mm-hmm. Well, even the post-hypnotic suggestions after he got out.
Right.
It's like, he couldn't control where he went. He couldn't control when he passed out. It was all the detective work after that was really where he started having free reign.
God, it's So I'm gonna say something that honestly, as stupid as it sounds, I never really thought about it till just now. He's there and he's living in the hotel prison, and they control everything that he's doing.
Yep.
I mean, like they feed him, like the TV. I don't think do they control like when the TV comes on the channels? I kind of feel like they did, right? They would just pop on randomly or something.
I don't remember that. I think that it was just that he had very limited say over what he could watch on the TV.
Right. And then the guy next to him, who also I don't think knew why he was in prison either.
Right.
That's something I'd love to see. Oh man, I mean, and not to take anything away from Oldboy, but what if there was an Oldboy TV series and it was like an anthology series that just focused on all the other people that were trapped, for various reasons.
Yeah,
they didn't all have to be something like really big, but someone is paying to have them there locked up for however long it is.
Yeah.
That would be pretty interesting.
That would be super interesting.
God, yeah, I like that.
Because, like, the business stays going after the events of Oldboy.
And you're not taking away anything from the main story or, like, ruining it in any way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the world stays the same because Oldboy is very, very personable between three people.
You know what would be interesting is, Oldboy is, it's a Korean film, isn't it?
South Korea, yep.
So, Dae-soo is Korean. But what if you have people from other countries that are locked up there? So, like, I paid to have this person locked up there. Yeah. So even if they fake, like, you get like a hole in the wall like they did,
right?
And the person next to you is like is Korean. You're speaking Korean, like, what the hell? Or the TV comes on, and TV is gonna now. Granted, they probably, if you're locked up, you probably got satellite or something that, so like whatever they're showing on TV may be what you need to see for your country.
Maybe.
But yeah, I mean, that would be something. Like, not only did someone like kidnap me and lock me up, but they locked me up in a different country.
Yeah.
That'd be wild.
That'd be crazy, yeah.
So anyway, so the thing I was gonna say about everything with Dae-soo is they make him eat, because didn't he really try to starve himself at one point?
I don't remember that. It's just that he gets so sick of the dumplings because they just feed him the same thing every day.
And he tries to commit suicide. That's not happening.
Mm-hmm. Like 3 or 4 times.
The thing with it is, sorry, that was that's a different version than what I was saying before, like a shorter version, so you didn't get a chance to see Travolta. So he starts working out and getting himself in shape and fighting and all that. And they don't try to stop that.
That is interesting, yeah.
That should have been a clue in some way. It's like, okay, great, you're working out, you want to keep yourself in shape. Obviously, you don't want to be here, but we won't let you die, so you're going to keep yourself in good shape for what? You're going to try to find some way to like attack us or something.
Yeah.
If they thought that was a threat, they would have put a stop to it, just like they did everything else.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't.
They also didn't try to stop him from digging the tunnel out.
Yeah. So because he ends up digging, finding out that he's like 15 stories up in the air or whatever.
Yep.
So the things that you're doing, they're letting you do, and if they're letting you do it, that means they don't see it as a threat. That should concern you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when he starts getting himself in shape, and they were letting him do that and work out and practice his, martial arts stuff, and that's okay, that's a problem.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, while I'm in the prison, there's really nothing I can do differently.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing I can do differently.
How else are you going to pass the time?
Right. Or I could just resign myself to watching TV and eating dumplings, and that's it. Now I might want to do a little bit of cardio because I'm not getting out and moving around or whatever.
Right.
Other than that, yeah. So, and obviously I can't work. I can't earn my freedom. Someone's paying to keep me locked up here until they see fit that I'm that can be released. But yeah, I don't really know what else to do. And once, like you said, once he gets out, he has no real control.
Yep.
He's kind of directed to the noodle shop and all that kind of stuff. I wouldn't have eaten that squid or that octopus. Pretty sure I wouldn't have done that. Well, I guess if I was Dae-Soo, that would have, because that's probably good eating to me. But
well, it's also just that he's very, very driven to take some kind of life. It's like to convey how bloodthirsty he is.
God, that's such a hard to watch scene.
It's pretty gross,
and it's like him eating it wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't for the tentacles are like fighting. They're like, no, I don't want to get eaten. He's
like latching onto his face.
He's like, get in my belly. God.
So the actor was that Wookjin Clark. I can't remember the actor's name. Shit.
The thing is, that this thing's still moving around in his stomach. Oh, God, it's making me just...
He was a vegetarian, and he was very uncomfortable with that scene, but he would basically pray and ask for forgiveness every time he had to, do the scene. It took, 3 takes, so he ate, 3 octopus. And he had to pray to it for forgiveness, I'm sorry I'm about to do this, but it's the job, kind of thing.
God, I couldn't have done it once. I sure as hell couldn't have done it.
I'd eat a live octopus once.
Huh?
I'd eat a live octopus once.
Nope. Nope.
So, there is one thing that he was not controlled by the hypnosis with, and I think that's what I would have done differently.
What?
When he first meets his kidnapper, when he first meets the guy who orchestrated him being locked up, they face off, and he says, oh, I did all of this for a reason. I'm going to leave it up to you to find the answer. And his kidnapper says, at that point, you can kill me right now if you want, but you'll never have the answer. And that's what keeps Dae-Soo from going through with it, because he's like, oh, I have to figure out the answers. For me, my response would be, I can live with that, fuck you. And I would have killed him then. Except
that he wants to get back with his daughter, and if he can find the reason why, and then take it to her and be like, hey, this guy did all this stuff and all that, and this is why, I didn't kill your mom. Because I'm assuming that if he can figure out why, then he would be able to say, hey, I didn't do this. Somebody else did this, and I'm not the bad guy. Because why, in my mind, why creates evidence.
Right. But I kind of get that, and maybe that's the case, but he was also working under the understanding that his daughter had been relocated to Stockholm.
Right.
So, I mean, it's at that point, it's well, I know where she is. I would go defend myself to the best of my ability anyway, but I'm not gonna let that fucker walk out of that room. Not at that point. It's regardless of your reasons, regardless of it's clear that that's what he wants to have happen. He has reasons for wanting me to go seek out answers. I'm not going to get him the satisfaction. It's you took 20 years of my life, you son of a bitch.
Oh, okay, so here's something else too, man. And I agree with you there. Yeah, at this point, maybe I can figure out on my own. Once I kill you, maybe I can figure out on my own, what happened. But he's still wanted for murder.
There is that.
So... he's even if he kills him, now he's a double murderer, and he's actually going to end up right back in prison. And on top of that, he can't even tell anybody that I've been in prison for the past however many years.
Yeah, I would just change my identity at that point. I don't think South Korea is as hard to leave as
North Korea.
So I think it'd be doable. Choi Min-sik. Played a Daisu.
Yeah, that is a tough one, man. I'm not quite sure.
I think that's like the first place where he's truly not being controlled by the hypnosis. I mean, outside of the big, like, mind breaker moment.
Right.
But, I think that, like, that's the point where he has a choice to make, and his curiosity got the better of him. And I'm pretty sure that it'd be like, fuck you, fuck your henchman, fuck your tea, fuck the queen.
Oh, I'm so proud of you. Oh, you have no idea how it makes my heart sing.
That's one of my favorite episodes.
The fundraiser. Fuck you, fuck Guy Ritchie, fuck your team. My Lambo's blue, my president's black. So I was gonna say, this is something that I guess it's one of those things where you're supposed to think about later on.
Mm-hmm.
God, this is okay. So, disclaimer: for those of you who have not seen Oldboy, and I know we've talked about it, back and forth.
We've already spoiled the ever-loving hell out of Fight Club, so we might as well spoil Oldboy.
Well, I was just gonna say, we're gonna be talking about some spoiler territory here. For those of you that have seen it and it's like, I don't really want to think about that in that ending any more than I have, please don't put that in my head. I'm just going to let you know that I'm going to be talking about that.
We're going to put it in your head.
In a way that's going to be more disturbing than you have probably, some of you maybe already have thought about it and it's like, no, that's why I don't want to think about it again. But, so just letting you know, 5, 4, 2, 3, sir. 3, 2, 1. He has to play that part to, because his daughter is in love with him, and he has to play that part to keep from breaking her heart.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere along the way of doing all that and being a good husband, lover, whatever he is to her, and in her reciprocating with that emotion, somewhere along the way, he's going to actually fall in love with her.
Mm.
And he's going to wake up one day and realize that he's in love with her. That's why I had the warning there. That's why the disclaimer. That hurts.
So, as long as we're in spoiler territory, my question for you would be, would you tell her once you realize what the truth is? See, in my scenario, I never figure out what the truth is because I kill the fucker. And it's just like, I never realized it was like incest, more like wincest, am I right? Ho-ho! It's like, it never happens for me.
God, I'd have to find a way to, like, undo that.
Just kick the door and it's like, baby, holy fuck, you're not going to believe this one. You know why you seem so familiar to me? You know why?
I just, God,
And granted, that's like a cultural thing. I'm sure there's like a huge cultural reason why there's no way in hell he could have told her. I don't think that it was just a discomfort thing for him.
Well, I mean, the whole thing is that he telling her is just like he can't leave.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he if he leaves, he breaks her heart. If he tells her, he breaks her heart. Not only that, but they've already done it.
Yep.
So it's you haven't seen I think most of it was, I think it's season 3 Rick and Morty. Or it might be season 4. The one with the talking cat? No, it's the one with the dragon. Yes, the one with the dragon.
The dragon.
And the talking cat.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that one.
So there's this whole thing with this talking cat that's voiced by Matthew Broderick, and it gets Jerry to do a bunch of stuff, and he's like, well, can I ask you a question? He goes, as long as that isn't why I talk. And he's like, look, just don't worry about it. Just, it doesn't matter, right? Are you the kind of guy that asks a bunch of questions, or are you just the guy to do things? Just does it. And it's like, come on. So, and then going to Florida and hanging out and doing this stuff, and then the cat like throws him under the bus. and Jerry's out, and then the cat ends up like getting out too, and then he's like, "Hey, Jerry, let's go." So, but he thinks that it's something that Rick has done. So after this whole thing, is that? I thought that's a dragon. I think it's a dragon. Anyway, but after this whole thing, Rick finds out about the cat, and he's like, "You don't know?" It's like, "No." It's like, "No, I didn't do this." It's like, "Why would it just?" So he ends up tricking it, and he reads the cat's mind. And he's like, "Oh my God!" And they're both like, "Oh!" He's like, "You don't want to see this, Jerry." He's like, "I do want to see it." He goes, "No, you don't." He's like, "No, I'm gonna." And he sees whatever it is. And they never tell you what it is, but whatever it is, whatever is in the cat's mind, or whatever he does, whatever he's been to, is just disturbing as hell. And they're like, "Ah!" And then Jerry makes a comment about it. He's like, "I don't want to live with that memory." And Rick's like, he's like, "You don't have to." He's like, "I'll carry the memory for both of us." And he wipes Jerry's mind. And then like sends the cat off somewhere, but he keeps the memory of what he saw. And I think that's the thing. It's like, I know the truth, as they so I know the truth, and I will hold the truth because someone has to hold the truth. And I don't want to break your heart because I don't want to do that because as he sees it, and it's really kind of it's obviously a no-win for him, but this guilty he feels over what happened to her and her mom because of what he did, and also because he was a lousy husband.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole reason he got picked up in the first place is because he got drunk on her birthday.
Yep.
And so that's all his doing. He was a lousy husband, and so he's like, and all this happened because of what I did in school, which I can kind of write off as just being an immature adolescent piece of shit, right? Because most kids at that age are, even the ones that are really good, and you're like, I do fundraisers for my church and blah blah blah. Yeah, but you're still
a teenager,
right? You're right. You're still a teenager, which still makes you an immature piece of shit. No matter how much you try to fight it. I'm glad you do try to fight it, but yeah, in the end, it's that's what it is. So I can write that off as that, but everything else after that, though, that's all you, and you created this. And so to go to her and break her heart now and hurt her even more, that's still you just adding more and more to the shit you've already done.
Yeah.
And so you kind of have to keep that, and you have to either make her happy, because, and that's the thing, she has no control of this. Even if you tell her the truth, she still can't do anything about it.
I guess they're still, like, hypnotically programmed to...
Right.
Except that, I mean, that was the thing, wasn't it? That he was like, you can't hypnotize people to be in love. All you can do is just follow these steps to make you do certain things physically, but then nature takes its course.
I can't hypnotize you to make you be in love, but if I know that you like certain things, and I know that, like, these are your soft spots, and I hypnotize somebody to work those soft spots, how are they not going to fall in love with you?
Yeah.
And so she can't control that. And so even if you told her the truth, she would probably do something like, it doesn't matter,
Yeah.
So he's fucked no matter what. And then, like I say, eventually it's a horrible life for him, because eventually staying with her, if he leaves her, tells her, like, if he leaves her and she's just gone, she'll probably spend a lot of time like pining for him, or maybe even commit suicide.
Maybe so.
If he tells her the truth, she'll try to make excuses for it and try to make it seem like why it's okay or whatever, and that's just going to create problems for the two of them as well. And if he stays, it creates a problem just for him. But like I said, eventually it's going to happen, and that's going to be so hard on him. Because what do you do with that, man? Like, well, especially after you've been going through the motions, and you've got to.
Yeah, it's bad.
I can't take that any further on the podcast.
It's bad no matter how you slice it.
It is, and so yeah, your way is really the only way that it works.
Yeah.
The bad thing about that, though, the bad thing about that, though, from my perspective, is that she's still waiting for that guy that's never going to show up. But from your perspective, You have absolutely no clue, so you're okay.
Yeah, it's like they're never going to realize that guy's not going to show up. So, and you have the satisfaction of killing him instead of knowing that he chose his own way out.
And then you're on the run, man.
Yeah.
I wonder if that guy had a contingency plan, though.
I don't know. I mean, that plan really went together so well that it didn't really need much of a contingency.
I mean, if he was like, you can kill me right now, Daesu, if he did, then he was like, okay, well,
Son of a bitch, I didn't think you'd actually do it!
Like, none of this other stuff matters, so just go ahead and just wipe the field.
I've had a few D&D sessions where that kind of thing happens, where it's like, no, if you kill me, you'll never know the truth. It's like,
Yeah.
I can live with that.
You don't understand. The satisfaction of killing you outweighs just like my need for the truth.
Like, I hate to break it to you, but chaotic neutral here all the way, so...
There's only one truth that's really going to be important to me right now. Is he dead? He sure is. All right, so my turn?
Yep.
Okay, I'm trying to decide which one, and my first thought was the latter as opposed to the former, but I think it's just because I enjoy the latter more, so I probably should just do the former. You're Nancy, and I'm on Elm Street. What do you do differently?
I don't know, she kind of handled it about as well as she could, right?
With the exception of she trusted her parents more than she should have.
Oh, well, yeah, to hell with that.
But she didn't... Even when she kind of had this idea that her parents weren't telling her everything, and obviously, like, they're undermining everything about her. Like, it's like, oh no, I got to do this for your own good. I got to protect you. This doesn't exist. This never happened.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, stop fucking gaslighting me, dude.
Yeah. Gaslighting doesn't exist. It's just something you made up because you're crazy.
So what do you do differently?
I think she had the right idea with, like, coming up with ways of defending herself, doing the whole, like, making explosives and shit from the Anarchist Cookbook. All that was stuff was like, yeah, I can see that. I think the problem is just deciding, oh, I'm not going to sleep. It's like, well, if you just don't go to sleep, then your body's eventually going to take over. Eventually your body's going to decide, I'm sleeping now. Doesn't matter if you're driving down the highway. If you're without sleep, your body's going to sleep.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck you, buddy. My needs outweigh your needs.
It's just like, I guess I just gotta find something to keep me awake. What's on TV? Island of Dr. Nope.
Freddy, kill me now.
That's definitely gonna put me to sleep.
So I think my go-to would probably be more of, like, trying to find a way to get a better handle on lucid dreaming or something like that. Where it's like... And that kind of is eventually what happens with, like, the third movie.
Right.
Is that people eventually realize, oh wait, we've got some level of control here. So I think that would pretty much be where my mind would go, because I've personally done a lot of research on lucid dreaming and things like that. I think it's really fascinating.
Now, the other thing to think about, though, is while you're doing that, you're still trying to convince other people, like Johnny Depp, that this exists, who's in a strong case of denial,
Yep.
and keep them alive.
I'm so shut in, and I'm so hermetic that I think I'd probably give up after the first try on that. I think when they're like, "You're crazy," be like, "Yeah, well, I'll be saying I told you so at your funeral, so fuck you very much."
Yeah, I'm so homebound and everything. I'm hermetically sealed.
Right. So once Freddy claims, like, his first one or two victims, I'd just be like, "Hey guys, guess who was right?"
Oh,
I'm gonna go meditate now, because...
Yeah, so you can do that. It's not going to stop him from coming after you, though. And isn't eventually that going to get tired?
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to figure out what I needed to do to kick his ass, but... I mean, I think that's what everybody goes up to, because it's like, what other option is there? We've tried everything except killing him, and that's what it always goes back to in all the Nightmare movies. Is that eventually it's like, oh, I guess that's what we have to try next. So, yeah. The only other option I can think of is that I might get desperate enough to not sleep, to where it's like, hey, doesn't Phil in, like, 11th grade, doesn't he, like, deal drugs? Didn't he say at some point last week, it's like, man, I haven't slept in like 8 days. This is some good shit. Hey, maybe he can help us out here.
Well, then you just become Taryn from the third one.
Oh, yeah.
That's why she did drugs.
But yeah, I'm not really much of a drug guy, so I don't really see me going down that route.
God, it's... so here's the bad thing, though. And I think this is one of the things that people kind of... when you think about Freddy, like the original Freddy, before he became this caricature of himself, is that... You see him as just this guy that pops into your dreams and kills you in your dreams and all that, but eventually, you're going to slip up.
Yeah.
Because, dreams are where wings take flight. I'm sorry, wings are where dreams take flight. But that's like that dreaming is what helps, you and your imagination and creativity. And if you can't sleep and you can't dream, then you start to become like zombified and you can't think. Mm-hmm. So the more that you're doing that, you're losing the physical war.
Yeah, you're sabotaging yourself.
So that eventually you are wearing something. I think that's something that people forget about with Freddy's. Like if I'm visiting you every night, and even if you're surviving, you're not getting good REM sleep because I'm interrupting it constantly, and it's wearing you down. You're making poor choices in life and everything else. So
yep.
I mean, obviously that takes too much to put into a movie. It was like, what's going on with you? You're making such poor choices. You're not getting enough sleep. And, okay, I guess it's not really that hard to do then in a movie.
Good job, Turk. you fixed it in literally 8 seconds. So.
Sweet berries. You know that, right?
Vaguely, yeah, right? Why is that familiar to me?
It's American Dad. It's the peanut butter one.
Oh, yeah.
and he's like, come on, champ, you gotta go to bed. He goes, if you don't get enough sleep, then your body will emit an odor that's attracted to pedophiles. and then he's at the museum, and the guy's like, he's like, sweet berries. Hey, champ, you get enough sleep last night?
Did you see T.J. Miller's thing on the invention of peanut butter?
No.
He's talking about George Washington Carver and all that, and he's like, do you think that he told anybody right away when he found out? I don't think I would. I think I'd keep it a secret, just for a little while. Just my own thing. I'm the only person in the world who knows what this amazing, amazing snack is. Peanut butter. And his wife's calling down from upstairs, Hon, you coming to bed soon? Just a minute. Got so much work to do in the lab. Definitely don't have anything finished down here, no. It's a great bit.
I think if that was that, I would have been like, honey, check this out. It's like, I just made this, this amazing thing here. It's so tasty. Give her some, put it on a big, because back then, bread was really thick. And it's just spread it on real thick too. It's like, here, try it. Take a big bite. And he's like, It's like, so I was thinking, yeah, I really want to fuck your sister. It's like, you think it's a good idea too? It's like, all right, well, you enjoy that peanut butter sandwich. I'm gonna go fuck your sister.
He actually touches on him telling his wife finally. He's like, she finally hits that moment where she's like, come on, honey, don't you want dinner? We're having jelly sandwiches. He's like, no, hon, I'm really not up for jelly sandwiches. You know what, George? I've had it. It's just you and your inventions all the time. I want to leave. He's like, no, I'm going to put this on the jelly sandwich. Here, you try this. It's like she doesn't even have time to argue. She just immediately orgasms when she bites it. Oh, holy shit, that's good.
I don't know if I'd want to eat a jelly sandwich that made me orgasm.
Probably not. I don't know. I think that'd get a little messy.
See, why don't people make drugs like that?
What, drugs that immediately make you orgasm?
Yeah.
I think somebody was experimenting with that a few years back.
I mean, okay, yeah, heroin, get you high, make sure they're because, so weed, what does weed do? Weed just it relaxes you, it calms you down, it's like, what happens after you orgasm? You're like, whew, oh, man, yeah. It's like, oh, God, so much on my mind right now, I can't sleep. Let me just go ahead and rub one out. Night. So just imagine if you come home from, I guess it would kind of like eliminate the need for sex though, right?
A little bit.
You come home,
Except that like the getting there is a lot of fun.
yeah,
So-
that's sort of true, but it's like, so honey, I was like, how would you like to just take your fucking pill? Fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just saying, I think that would eliminate the need for all other drugs. Like, I wouldn't need anything. Just like that would be it. Just take an orgasm pill. I'm just like, that's fantastic.
yeah, I think it would be convenient, especially if you're in a real hurry. But no, the getting there is like way too much fun.
But just think about it though, right? So as a guy, like I'm in it. And I'm got this chick and I'm doing it right. And I'm like, here, honey, like right in the middle of it, I pop one of those in her mouth, and I'm like, and she's like, oh, I'm like, yeah, I'm the man. Look what I just made you do.
Until she puts two and two together and realizes it's the pill, and it's like, wait a minute, I don't need this
This
guy.
isn't about her. It's about my ego. That's it. That's it.
Well,
Now who's too fast?
does what? You're done already? Ugh.
It's like, see? It's like, you said you liked the Beatles. That's a come together joke.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So,
All right. So yeah. So I think that would be the biggest of it is, if you can kind of get a hold of that lucid dreaming thing, then you just get to do like this cool fight scene like the end of Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
so you know what you could though? You could meditate though. That's another thing you could do. Because I think if you meditate, that can replace actual sleep.
Yeah. Yeah. Like deep trances.
If you really practice meditation and not be like, I'm meditating, you just fall asleep and then wake up later in the same position, be like, oh, that was good. And you didn't really do it right. But yeah, that's not bad. So you would just be like, okay, some shit's going down. I think it's related to the dreams. I pull this dirty ass hat out of the dream, and fuck my friends. I'm just gonna try to save myself.
Pretty much. I mean, I think once you hit that one point of like, guys, this is definitely Freddy Krueger, they're like, you're crazy. It's like, okay, well, I tried.
Well, because first she had to get her parents to open up the truth about what happened, and it's not until they put the bars in the windows that her mom, or she tells like right before they put the bars in the windows, that what's going on. And you have to convince your friends. She's like, our parents did this. Like, no. I love the third one when they're talking. It's like, your parents did this, and it's like, no. If my parents had done that, they would have told me. But like, yeah. And Taryn comes back. She's like, yeah, they would have told you. Like, why is the stupidest ass thing? Yeah, they would have told you. Like, hey, mommy, the boogeyman. No, we killed him. Remember last week when you had the babysitter? We came home and you're like, you smell like smoking. Well, let me tell you what happened.
Funny you should mention that, son.
So there's no more boogeyman. He's all burned up. In fact, here you go. What's this? It's just a charred piece of wood from the place where he died. Enjoy.
Yeah, the crazy neighbor, Mr. Kovacs, he handcuffed his arm to a lead pipe and handed him a hacksaw. Said, you'll never cut through the pipe in time, but you could probably cut through your arm. I guess he didn't.
That's just the movie Saw.
Sorry, but Alan Moore did it a lot classier than Saw.
Now, I think that's a good idea. So, but you do have to, you are basically just saying they screw everybody else.
Do I not come across as the person who would have that philosophy in that situation?
But Nancy doesn't. She cares about people, and even though you don't care about getting the dick, she did. And it was pre-crazy Johnny Depp dick too. So just putting it out there.
Pre-crazy Johnny Depp dick. I wasn't tempted until this moment, Turk. But yeah, apparently that whole situation with his crazy ex was a lot darker than I ever thought it was.
She put a piece of shit in the bed, man.
Yeah, plus she cut his fingertip off, so...
What?
Yeah, I don't think she intentionally cut it off. I think she was, going after him with a broken bottle or something and accidentally sliced the tip of his finger off.
Oh, a ninja knife? What?
I mean, that's what my grandma always called it, but... come to think of it, grandma was kind of a racist.
So, yeah, she's... God. That's the thing. It's like, doesn't really matter if you're really attractive. Nuts is nuts, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay, so back to so pre-crazy Johnny. I mean, that's the thing. You were like, I would just not even worry about it, but Nancy wasn't that kind of person, man. Okay.
I mean, it didn't really change much about how she handled Freddy, though. I mean, it was just during her awake time, she was trying to convince him.
Right. And more than likely, they probably still would have died in the dream anyway.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't think you can really prevent that, because it's going to take time to learn how to meditate. It's going to take time to learn how to lucid dream.
Hey, I have a question.
Yeah.
Like the girl that Freddy kills, in her dream, she's in the alley, and then he's attacking her, and he's got her, pinned up to the ceiling, he's like stabbing her and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. The other guy, he ties a noose around his neck, and you see that. What did he do to Johnny Depp? Did he toss him in an industrial blender or something? What did he do?
Because that was the one, wasn't Johnny Depp the one where the waterbed is transparent and...
No, he pulls him into the bed.
Yeah, but doesn't he appear as a naked chick first, and then winds up pulling him into the bed?
No.
Or am I thinking of a different character? Different movie?
In the third one, the nurse gets Joey, and she takes off her top, and then she tongue lashes into the bed, and then the mattress falls out beneath him, and then there's the fire and stuff.
I could have sworn there was something with...
I think in the fourth one, when they kill off everybody from the third one at the very beginning, I think he dies in a water bed.
I could have sworn it was the first movie.
Well, Johnny Depp gets pulled into the bed, and then that big fountain of blood comes shooting up out of the top.
Yeah.
He's got the headphones, and then he's got the TV on his stomach, and all that stuff gets pulled into the bed, and the big fountain of blood shoots out all over the place. So, what did he do to him?
He did Freddy stuff.
Oh, that's it, just Freddy stuff?
Yeah, just Freddy stuff.
Freddy stuff. Okay, no. Yeah, there you go. It's just an example.
I love in the fourth movie when he uses the NES Power Glove. Drags the kid into the video game.
Doesn't he say, now you're playing with power?
I think so. And after he kills the kid, he's like, what do you know? I beat my high score. It's so cheesy. It's so cheesy. I love
cheesy?
It. Yeah.
That's cheesy.
Yeah, that's cheesy.
The Invisible Freddy Dojo fight. That's cheesy.
That's cinematic mastery right there.
Oh.
To be continued.
All right there, folks. That was Our Moms Think We're Funny. Let's give them a hand.